Every month, supporters who donate at least $3 can ask me anything they want, and if they donate $5, they can also ask me to give a shout out. So I'm going to go through and answer all the questions they asked for the month of September. If you want to ask a question for the month of October, just use the links below to Patreon or Subscribestar and donate at the $3 level. So let's start with Rainbow Asteroids. How would you respond to someone who claims that we need the state because people are unfit to function on their own? Well, if people are unfit to function on their own, then how are they fit to run a state where they try and function other people's lives as well? And his own parenthetical is a case in point. E.g., we need Social Security because people cannot be trusted to save for their own retirement. Well, that's certainly true of politicians, isn't it? Look at how much they spend and spend and spend and overspend. And right now they're talking about having to raise the debt ceiling yet again. I mean, you'd think there'd be some point where people would figure it out, right? Where people would be saying, wait a minute, I can't get by constantly paying off one credit card with another. But what are they doing? And that's a good question, because that's basically it. Raising the debt limit is kind of like raising, your available credit. You max out your credit cards and you need to pay them off. Well, you go and get another credit card. One of those that say, hey, fill out these forms and pay off your old balances and you'll get 0% interest for 12 months or whatever. Well, how long do you think they're going to let you do that? Yeah, not very long until your credit rating goes down the crapper. It's not a question of if, folks. It's a question of when. All right, Tomasz Urbański asks, thanks for answering my last rhetorical question. No problem. I love answering rhetorical questions. It's fun. Staying on topic on inflation and other tricks, can I have a video request? The way most or all countries calculate inflation, unemployment, and many other stuff is very susceptible to manipulation. And of course, he's absolutely right about this. I won't read out the rest of the comment. I'll leave it on the screen for you to see yourself. But for example, unemployment isn't just out of work people. It's people who are out of work, seeking work, and officially and actively looking for a job, and so on. Or average income. If average income goes up, but the value of the local currency goes down, the real income might really be going down. A bad situation might be made to look good, and a good situation might be made to look bad. And so I've mentioned some of these in various videos, like for example, in the 70s when you started having more single households. If you have a double household, two people are working, they're both making $40,000. That's one household making $80,000, and let's say the median is $50,000. Now the couple splits up, and they move into separate houses, but they both get raises. They both get raises to $45,000. They're doing great. They're making more money. But because their household demographic has changed, they went from being one household above the median to two households below the median, which itself drops the median. So that's the kind of thing that you have to look at. And yeah, there are a number of these. I don't know if there's a good way to put them all into one video, but yeah, they're definitely better topics for discussion there. So I can look around and see if there are any of these other statistical paradoxes that I haven't covered yet. And finally, Darth Vega says, hi Shane, I just released a short video on my DarthVega21 YouTube channel exposing Ray Comfort's ignorance on evolution. Specifically the whole male-female thing. Yeah, I'll put a link to that down in the description. It is a fascinating subject, and what you have to keep in mind is that no one thinks that there was non-living matter, and then all of a sudden there was life that was already two sexes and reproducing sexually. No. For billions of years, we're just talking about bacteria and archaea, which don't even reproduce sexually. And sexual reproduction is only done by eukaryotes. And even then, the first eukaryotes, and even many eukaryotes today, don't have distinct sexes. So it's interesting to see the way that started. Eukaryotic cells are actually a result of a merger of a bunch of different cells. That's called endosymbiotic theory. And that theory took a while to gain traction because it actually contradicts Darwin. It did not use a Darwinian process to go from prokaryotic to eukaryotic cells. And so the main scientist behind it, Lynn Margulis, had to put a lot of work and determination in there, gradually got more and more support as she went along. But since she had the truth on her side, she prevailed, and in something like 20 or 30 years, it went from being this out-of-the-way crackpot crank theory to being accepted by scientists and even taught in textbooks. So that puts lie, to another claim of creationists that, oh, they just, they worship Darwin and they won't let anything non-Darwin in. Nope, they'll let in non-Darwin stuff. You just have to prove it. And when it comes to sexual reproduction, even when you're looking at animals, like earthworms, for example, earthworms are hermaphrodites. When they mate, they're doing both the male and the female functions, both of them. They give sperm to the other and use it to fertilize their eggs. And plants are weird. The idea of plants reproducing sexually is kind of weird to a lot of people, but that's the whole point of flowers and pollen and all that, which is the male part. Well, there are female parts too. And some plants do, in fact, have distinct sexes. So this idea of there being two distinct sexes, that evolved just over and over and over and over and over again. Because sometimes there's a survival advantage to that. So yeah, when you're dealing with people like Ray Comfort and Kent Hovind and people like that, they haven't even looked up how this works. So check out Darth Vega's video, and he also very graciously says at the end, Shane, I absolutely love how no one can touch your logic, especially with libertarianism. You are doing awesome work defending the free market. Take care, my friend. You too, and thank you so much for the kind words, and thank you out there for watching. Comments for the Common God, shares for the Share Throne, hit like, subscribe, and the bell, and please go to donate.begosity.tv to keep me doing what I do. All sorts of ways to donate: PayPal, crypto, Patreon, or Subscribestar if you want to give regularly. And remember, $3 or more lets you ask any question you want to of me every single month. So we'll see you later. Until then, stay strong and be free.